communications we have, what is the communication medium, what are the channels we use. I think everybody knows today what is meant by all that. So that had been the basics, and more or less we have been doing it. But today what we need to out here and understand is, we need to understand the communication effectiveness is adding to what? What are the results if we really communicate well? What type of words or sentences makes a difference? Okay? What types of tips or tricks make the difference when we really want to effectively communicate and reach out to the people whom we really want to? So whether we are working in a team, whether we are working in an organization, corporate sector, teaching sector, education background, or any particular thing, or maybe we are also communicating in our daily life with our family members, we require effectiveness. Okay, so start with, I'm starting with a particular scenario. So let's understand the scenario first, and then probably we'll take up the particular session. So let's start with the scenario wherein there is a supervisor or manager who says to his team, "Hi guys, let's meet tomorrow for a team meeting. See you all." And that's the end of the statement. Now the question here is, what do you think about this statement? Whether the statement is complete, not complete, is it really effective way of communication or not a very effective way of communication? What's your take on this particular statement which this manager has spoken to the teammate? So whatever is your answer to this, I would like you take a 1 minute and just write on your chat window, complete or incomplete, effective or ineffective. What do you think? What is your take? Remember, there is no yes, so there is no good answers or bad answers. We are here to just have a discussions. So you're not limiting yourself to say anything. Please, whatever you feel that this is the question's answer, do write it. And if you really communicate with us, we will be able to communicate with you back. So what do you think? Is this statement really effective? And if it is not, what could be the more effective way of saying it? That we can see in the coming up slides. But first of all, let's understand whether it's a complete statement or an incomplete one, whether it is effective or not. Anybody can answer, and I would like everyone to actually attempt it. We'll take only 1 minute. We don't have much time, so we cannot waste time here. What do you feel like? What's the first answer comes in your mind? We'll wait for a few seconds more. Okay, so yeah, are you saying something?
Yeah, anybody can answer. I said let's have some kind of interaction, maybe through the chat only. Yeah, Mitashi Chakrabarti, raise your hands. You can put it on the chat box, chat window, or you want to, can you unmute and talk? I don't know whether unmute option is there with you or not.
You can write on the chat window.
Write on the chat window, yeah.
Okay, so we are going forward to this. So as I mentioned that this particular statement is a little bit ineffective for me. It is a little bit incomplete for me because this particular statement doesn't have the agenda, doesn't have why we want to meet, why the team should meet actually the next morning. Maybe we should have clearly mentioned that what type of things we have to discuss, how much time it will take, what time we will start, okay, where we will actually meet. Are we meeting in the particular room of the boss, or maybe a conference room, or maybe somewhere in the canteen, or what we are actually doing and where we are meeting? And is this particular meeting a half-day meeting, a 1 hour meeting, or it's a full-day meeting? So what type of frequency this meeting is having, a time period? And if it has to cover up lunch also, so are we having arrangements done for lunch? So these are certain points which was not very clear with the statement which we actually have seen earlier. So the statement was very absurd, which says, let's meet tomorrow for a meeting. Okay. So whenever there is a communication, so if you being a manager, if you being a principal, or if you being the team leader, and if you are giving the instructions to your own team, or probably to your family member, like you have to go tomorrow to somewhere, so what somewhere, when are we going, you know, whom along with you're going, so all these things matters. So if we write the same message by this particular way, so that would be more effective. If you see the same statement, if I'm writing it like, hi guys, let's meet tomorrow for a team review meeting at our conference room. We shall start the meeting at 10 a.m. sharp. It's your quarterly review, and all of you be prepared with your presentations. Because it's a review, so definitely the presentations has to be done by the team. And by the way, the meeting is for whole day, so let's have office lunch. See you all. So if you think this statement, if you go, somebody tells you on this particular, way, your boss comes and say, so I think you're very, very clear, and this statement is very concise and complete in its own sense, which says, you know, where we are meeting, when are we meeting, what is the purpose, why we have to meet, and what we will be doing in that meeting. What will be the actual outcome of that meeting? It's also coming up very clear. So this actually is a very good example of having a communication which needs to be effective. So effective means all the details needs to be there. It has to be clear. It has to actually cut down the traffic of communication or the unnecessary conversations which we normally have. So half of the time we spend on getting those clarifications itself. So if a person sends you incomplete statement, you always have some certain questions in mind and you go back and get the answers. So that is basically, again, wasting your own time in that conversation rather than starting on to the next thing. So this is what a very small scenario explains you what basically it is. Now, so what I want you people to understand from these questions, or you can basically see that whether you do this, how versatile is your communication? Are you really making sense when you are communicating? Are you really complete or concise or very clear or precise in what you are communicating? How are you communicating with your teams? It could be the channels, it could be the modes, it could be face-to-face interactions, it could be emails. Okay? So what is your comfortable mode of communication, and is that a profitable one or an advantageous one, or is it really hampering the meaning of the communications? Because at times chatting, using chat applications, using email communications may not help you. Face-to-face interactions really come down to a very good results-driven phase. So basically, it all depends what type of communications we actually do with our teams. And once we communicate, what type of effect can we say? It means the results. We're talking about the result orientation approach here. Whether the communication which we are doing on a timely basis as a manager, as a team holder, or as a team owner, is it really improving my team performance, or it is not actually going anywhere? It is stagnant. So what I need to change in that communication way? How well am I listening? So a very important aspect of communication is listening. Till the time we don't know what we actually have to answer back, we will assume. We actually work on assumptions at times. Okay, so when we work on assumptions, the communication becomes ineffective. Okay, so that is what basically the basic questions which we should always ask ourselves and understand, that whether the communication which we are doing or interactions which we are doing with the people, is it really giving us results, or it requires improvement. So there is a small quote before we start with the actual session. This quote says, is a Govt quote, and this quote says the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. We always feel the communication happened. Okay, we feel that this has happened. मैंने बोल दिया है तो लोगों ने सुन लिया है. क्या लोगों को समझ में आया? या लोगों ने उस समझ जो उन्होंने समझी है उससे कुछ काम किया? क्या उस काम में results आए? Did we get the 100% of what we actually intended for? So how we are measuring that effectiveness? So that's very clear. The very first problem, or the only single problem which we have in the communication, is that we assume, we communicated, and people understood it. That is what we actually do. And we live with it. Okay? We don't want to go back and rephrase the things. We don't want to go back and rephrase the statements and communicate in a more better way. So I think that's the illusion we all live actually with. So let's understand, going with this, what is communication? It's nothing but basically the key to success to any business. When I say that, it means it is an essential and imperative thing, or a very critical aspect for us to survive in this life. When I say life, it means it's as simple as to compare with the concept of an oxygen for a body. Okay, oxygen is something, a very basic thing, without which we cannot survive. It's actually what the communication is. Till the time we don't know how to communicate, till the time we don't communicate, and we don't effectively communicate, the relationships, the consistency in the relationships, the work to be done, okay, and the way it has to be done will always get impacted. Okay, so let's start with why effective communication is important, is actually very important at the workplace. Now, we are taking the scenarios of workplace out here because I'm assuming there are people who you all are working somewhere or the other. Okay, when I say working, I'm not always assuming that you people have a corporate background. It could be any background. If you are not working also, definitely in personal life also the communication is very, very essential thing. Okay, so why is effective communication so important? It's definitely important to build up a very authentic interpersonal relationship. Till the time we don't know what to communicate to the next person, what all aspects we expect the person to understand, definitely the relationships are not going to be effective. Okay, because as I said, we live in assumptions. We have illusion that we have actually given out the information to which the other person wants. So if we don't have that clarity, we don't have that cordial relationships of communications, definitely interpersonal relationships will not improve. So when I say this, it means that it is talking from the corporate side. I'm talking only upon the workplace area right now. Okay, the consistency in the relationships is very, very important. Remember, building a relationship is an important aspect, but to maintain that relationship is equally important. So how do you actually have the consistency in relationships? By the continuous effect of the communication of the effectively. Okay, if you're not effectively communicating, the assumptions, the faults, or those backpacks which we have for the somebody has done something wrong with me, and we have not clarified that why that wrong has happened, why that person has done wrong with me, and why this person has done the way he has done. If you're not clarifying that through an effective channel of communication, that particular thing will start building up in our heart. And if that's so, the relationship definitely becomes a problem. Okay, so to maintain good relationships, let's get the clarifications, let's get the clear things done. And when we talk about workplaces, it's very important there. We assume that this person has, done this something wrong or backbiting, or maybe he's a good in the books of my boss, so he is actually backbiting me. So this is again assumption. Okay, why we cannot go and talk to the managers or a boss that this is what I feel, and if I'm feeling so, there is something which is not going right. So this is again one example of the communication which we can do effectively with our bosses. Definitely, communications generate ideas, and it has the ability to overcome challenges. And when we say that, it means till the time we don't know what is there inside going on in the mind of a person, we cannot implement it. Remember, in the effective team meetings, what happens? So when we welcome the ideas, if you have a particular idea of putting something in front of your boss or a manager, So, for example, there is a sales meeting going on, and a person is boss is asking for certain ways how we can improve the sales of last quarter in this quarter. So, what we are actually looking forward, what the boss as a boss, I'm looking forward from my team would be the good ideas, the effective ideas which can actually implement. But till the time team doesn't come and speak about it, doesn't communicate the challenges which they had earlier, how we can overcome those challenges, okay, and till the time we don't brainstorm together to find out certain ways of having the effective sales channeling, we cannot achieve the targets for the next quarter as well. So that's what lacks. In the team meetings, it's always like boss is talking and team is listening. Why? We are a team. So when we say team, it means we together have to actually contribute in that particular meeting. Okay? And definitely effective communication helps you to face difficult conversations. If difficult, when I say conversation, definitely again we're talking about that people are talking with each other. When I say difficult, it makes sense to you probably, because when we say difficult, it means there are certain things which is not right in between two people or two parties. So if we really have to do that, we have to come to the common platform where we understand both the parties' negotiated points. We have to effectively put our ideas on the table and communicate with each other. So what will happen if we do this? We as an individual will have more career successes and we have more promotion potential if we really actually go into the effective communication route. Okay, because if we know what we need to ask, whom we need to ask, and where we need to ask, we will get our clarities, and we get the clarities, we implement those clarities in the work area, and definitely we are identified as a next potential for the promotion. Okay, so that is the advantage of having the communication. We are going to the next slide, which is basically the communication focus points. Now, communication focus points, when we talk about, it's basically asking. So in this particular scenario, I would like you to think over it, that how many of us actually communicate with our team members. So, for example, put a hat of a team leader. Okay, I'm assuming that you people have been being team leader in your roles, or probably you are already a team leaders, or you're working with your teams. Okay, so when you communicate with your teams, are you really communicating over the tasks only? Are you only talking about whether the things have been done, this first thing has been done, second thing has been done, this task which I have allotted to you has been done, or not? Are we always checking the status of the work to be done by the team? Or are we actually focusing on team togetherness? Okay, how as a team we work together? Do we really communicate on the workplaces on these lines also? So is it always daily tasks review, or we also put our time or invest our time with the team to build that bond together? And there is individual communication when we talk to our team members one-on-one. So for example, if I have a team member, Mr. A, now this Mr. A is not performing very well in the organization, and he is not able to get onto the parameters which he needs to achieve. So that is an individual performance issue. Okay, so when I sit with this person, give him a constructive feedback, and talk on the action plan that the next 1 month you are going to do this, and this would be a focus area. What are the challenges you are facing? How we can overcome these challenges as a team? Okay, what trainings you require? What skill upgradation you require? So when we talk one-to-one with the team members and jot down their performance issues and planning, we are actually focusing on the communication as an individual. So whenever we as a boss communicate, we have to always see that what percentage of communication we are doing on the task, what percentage we are contributing on the team management or team building, and how much of percentage of communication is happening over the individual team member. Remember, every team member is important. Okay, whether from a smallest team member to a senior most team member, everyone is contributing to your goal, to your organization goal. So definitely they require your focus as a team supervisor. Okay, and from here we will start with the actual way which we really wanted to share with you how you can improve communication. So when I say communication, again remember, we are not here to teach you communication. We are here to improve on the effectiveness of the communication. And from here, my business partner Rajalakshmi will take over the session. And thank you so much for being the nice audience till now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roopa. Thank you so much. Hope you all able to hear me. Very good evening to all of you. So she has laid the foundation about why effective communication is required for having a successful stint at the workplace, successful career at the workplace. So not only a workplace, wherever you go, everyday life, whether it be your family, friends, or relatives, wherever, the communication needs to be effective in order to make them understand what really you are trying to say. So let us go to the next slide. Can you please move to the next slide? Hello? How do I go on to the next one?
Ma'am, we have given you the access, so नीचे next का option आ रहा होगा. Okay.
Yeah, got it. So listening is the key. The first and the foremost thing in a communication is communication. Most of the time is always between the two people or many people, right? So wherever you are sitting, okay, for attending some lecture or a speech or whatever, listening is the key. Whatever is the presenter is saying, you need to listen very carefully. Right? Most of the time what we do is when we are attending a seminar or something, we always do some kind of rehearsal in our mind कि मैं suppose अगर मुझे कुछ question पूछा गया तो how will I answer? For example, suppose if the teacher says, listen to me carefully, this lecture, listen to my lecture. At the end of the session, I'm going to ask you few questions. So, जैसे the teacher says this, our mind starts working. What question she can ask, how will I answer, rather than actually listening to the lecture, what she is delivering. So, listen instead of formulating your response. Formulating a response, जैसे तुम्हें answer देना है बोल दिया, your mind will start working in the direction rather than listening what the lecturer says. So, don't do that. Always listen and then you frame your answer what you have to say. Ask for clarification to avoid misunderstanding. So, ask for anything is said to you. Suppose if things are not clear, जैसे boss ने बोला tomorrow we have a meeting, and none of the team members had the guts to get up and ask, sir आपने बोला meeting है, working, what is the agenda, what is the start time, किसी ने पूछा नहीं, because हम ये हमारे दिमाग में ये है कि बॉस है तो हमसे ऊपर है, हम उनको क्वेश्चन नहीं कर सकते हैं, बट इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट. अगर आपके पास कुछ क्लैरिटी नहीं है किसी चीजों के बारे में, देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग इन आस्किंग द क्वेश्चन, सर may I ask you something, what time is the meeting, what is the agenda of the meeting, one of them could have asked, right? So ask for clarification to avoid misunderstanding. Okay, one conversation at a time. When you this works especially when you are in a group, one at a time. If you speak, it is better for everybody to understand rather than you speak. All of you together speak at a chorus, right? And provide undivided attention. Most of the time, what happens? Many of time जब हम लोग नौकरी करते थे, when we go for a team meeting, suppose all the teams would be there, sales team होगा, financial team, everybody will be there. Okay, when the sales team is presenting, being an operation person, I will be least focusing on the presentation. What I will be saying, I will be busy typing something in my laptop, answering my mails. So that is an insult to the presenters जो खड़ा होकर वो presentation दे रहे हैं, उसके लिए हम बहुत ही बड़ा इंसल्ट है, ह्यूमिलिएशन है कि उसको बुलाया आपने प्रेजेंटेशन करने के लिए एंड यू आर नॉट अटेंटिव टू द प्रेजेंटेशन. वो कभी ना करना. प्रोवाइड अनडिवाइडेड, मतलब बांटना मत अपना काम को. If you have come for attending a presentation, all your focus should be on the presentation only, not on any other task, right? So hope this is clear. So listening, the first thing is listening is the key. You need to be listening to the presenter what he is presenting. जैसे मैं अभी present कर रही हूँ, you have to be undivided attention दे के मेरे बातों को सुनना है. हो सकता है at the end of the session I may ask you some questions. So be prepared to answer those questions, right? So the next point is emphasis on open communication. ओपन कम्युनिकेशन में आप किसी को भी मौका दो बोलने के लिए. डोंट से द टाइम द बॉस आई विल ओनली स्पीक, यू विल हैव टू लिसन. नो, इट हैज टू बी an open communication. Nobody should fear anybody. Everybody has the equal right to say what they want to say, give their suggestion what they want to suggest. Opposite spectrum of listening is what other has not said. हम लोग listening को ध्यान नहीं देते. We start framing something. So the way we frame, we think something which he has not said कि आपने बोला है. वो बोलेगा मैंने तो ये बोला ही नहीं है, because you have been rehearsing in your mind what he has said it. So sometimes because your internally your mind is working, कई बार आपको लगता है जो उसने बताया नहीं, आपको लगेगा हाँ ये बात उसने बताया है, right? So dictate the truth, creating a safe space for communication. कि अगर कुछ ने उस बात बोल दिया जो आपको लगता है it's not correct or something, dig to the truth. Why you said that? What made you say that? Find out the truth about why that statement was made. Have regular one-to-one interactions. So this is very much required when you are working with the teams. When 2 or 3 members are working on a same project, it is all the more needed that you have to have a regular one-to-one meeting interaction with each of them. Maintain a two-way stream. Maintain the communication in a two-way stream. Both the parties you should ask and then you should listen. It has to be two ways. Maybe I think you all must have attended many sessions on communication where most of the time what is the disadvantage of one-way communication, what is the advantage of two-way communication, ये सब बताते हैं. I think you all must have attended. So two-way communication is always better for having a openness and understanding what each person is willing or wanting to share. So second is open communication होना चाहिए. First is the listening. Second is open communication among the team members, right? The next one is create a communication friendly space. Right? So you have to make yourself available. अगर आप boss की position पे हो या आप trainer हो, you have to make yourself available for the students. Whenever they want to approach you, to ask you some questions, to ask some doubts, you need to you need to make yourself available. अगर आप किसी का बॉस है, किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का बॉस है, तो द सेम थिंग गोज, यू नीड टू बी अवेलेबल फॉर योर सबऑर्डिनेट्स. जो आपके टीम मेंबर्स है, दे वांट टू अप्रोच यू, यू शुड मेक योरसेल्फ अवेलेबल फॉर मीटिंग देम. पीपल कैन अप्रोच यू टू स्पीक अबाउट देयर फीलिंग्स और शेयर आइडियाज एंड इनिशिएटिव्स. किसी भी चीज के लिए बोल सकते हैं. उनके अपना प्रॉब्लम्स कुछ डिस्कस करना चाहते हैं एज एन मे बी एन एक्सपीरियंस्ड पर्सन, और आप उनसे उम्र से भी बड़े हो सकते हैं या आप काम के एक्सपीरियंस से भी बड़े हो सकते हैं. सो she or he wants to take some advice from you. उनके फीलिंग शेयर करना चाहते हैं और कुछ आइडियाज या इनिशिएटिव शेयर करना चाहते हैं. यू मेक योरसेल्फ अवेलेबल. एनकरेज एक्सप्रेशन. उनको रोको मत. व्हाटएवर दे वांट टू एक्सप्रेस, लेट देम कम आउट विद दैट. बी अप्रिशिएटिव अबाउट ओपन एंड ट्रांसपेरेंट कम्युनिकेशन. सो जो कम्युनिकेट करते हैं उसको अप्रिशिएट करो फॉर बीइंग ओपन एंड वॉलंटरीली आके आपसे डिस्कस करें उसको. एनकरेज सोशल इंटरेक्शंस. Prompt and inspire others, especially the teammates, students, family members, to speak to one another even when it comes to non-work related conversation. Many times आपकी टीम के साथ ऑफिस में जितने भी फ्रेंड्स है उनके साथ जरूरी नहीं है you're always talking about office. You may talk something about your non-office related matters also. You want to discuss about your family or your father, mother who is sick, you're taking to the hospital, she is under treatment. जो भी है non related to work, आप उनसे बात करके थोड़ा अपना हार्ट को हल्का कर सकते हैं, अपने फीलिंग्स को हल्का कर सकते हैं. Okay, so encourage such kind of behavior in the office, right? And communication is a two-way street. As we discussed earlier, communication is always a two-way process. One is the sender and the receiver. So you play the role of कभी आप sender हो, दूसरा receiver है, कभी दूसरा sender है, आप receiver. It's a two-way process. For open and honest communication, mimic it yourself to set an example. So you हमेशा आप जो भी communication करते हो, make it a point that it is a two-way communication. Two-way communication में क्या हो, जब आप friendly way में बात करोगे, the other person is encouraged to speak to you. अगर आप boss हो या teacher हो, आप कम्युनिकेशन का टू वे मोड पे रखो सो दैट वो आपसे जो स्टूडेंट्स है तो आपसे डाउट्स पूछ सके, टीम मेंबर्स है तो अपने प्रॉब्लम्स आके शेयर कर सकते हैं. मेक इट दैट वे. इट शुड नेवर बी टैप डाउन. डोंट क्लोज इट लाइक कम्युनिकेशन सिर्फ मैं करूंगा, आप उसका दोबारा आप मेरे से पूछ नहीं सकते. Regardless of medium, means regardless of whatever mode of communication, whether it is email, phone or chat or whatever it is, encourage others to come up to share the feedback, thoughts and points of contention. अगर किसी बात में agreement नहीं हो रहे, उसको बताने के लिए उनको encourage करो. Why do you say that this will not work? Why you are not in agreement with me? So let them come out with a point. हो सकता है उसकी points में भी कोई दम हो which may work out for you. So make it the process of two-way communication always. One-way communication will never successfully work at any place, be it a home or office or with friends, anyway, right? The main consistent and realistic expectation while your communication is you need to be very clear. You need to be loud, you need to speak the language which the other person can understand, and your voice need to be very legible so that the other person can hear what you are speaking. Then concise. Concise is keep the presentation, whatever you want to communicate, brief. Don't make a very lengthy, long sentences. Make it short and brief. Focused. Okay, focused on the topic. Whatever you are going to speak, you focus yourself on the topic only. Don't deviate from the topic. And relevant. जो भी टॉपिक आप बात करते हो उसके रेलेवेंस में आप कुछ एग्जाम्पल देना चाहते हो उसके रेलेवेंस में दे दो. Don't bring any irrelevant example which does not associate with that particular topic. And it has to be complete. Don't जैसे बॉस ने बोला था इनकम्प्लीट स्टेटमेंट दिया ना, वैसे मत छोड़ो. मेक इट ऑलवेज अ कंप्लीट communication, right? So that other person do not have any misclarity नहीं होना चाहिए. What you communicate should be very clear so that they understand it at one go, right? The next point is stick to your own rules. What does that mean is make the discussion and the duties whatever you want to communicate while working in the group, make it relevant. Talk only about the point which you want to discuss. Do not bring topics which is outside of it, right? जैसे review meeting में बोला है, boss should be focusing only on the review meeting. He should not bring about any other topic, discussion on any other topic which is not related to the review, right? Avoid confusions, disappointments by being transparent and open with right questions from the beginning. So जिनसे जो क्वेश्चन पूछना है उनसे क्लियरली पूछो so that everybody is clear on what you are discussing, what you are talking about, right? Next one is reading the room. Read the room का मतलब जो भी उस रूम में है उसके हिसाब से आप अपने कम्युनिकेशन को ऑल्टर करना है. Comprehend means पहले से सोच लो कि which mode of communication works at a particular situation, right? Now, for example, you are announcing about a annual party for the whole team. You can come and announce it in the complete office gym का जहाँ पे सब कुछ सुनाई देगा वहाँ पे आपको announce करते हैं because it is a happy news. You can openly discuss about it to everybody loudly. You can say. Now, for example, you are noticing a employee who is not doing very well in his work, who is not being attentive to work, and you want to terminate him. Okay, so तो terminate की खबर जो है आप सबके सामने नहीं करोगे. You will call him to your cabin. आप आराम से उसको बिठा के face to face बोलोगे कि your work is not up to the mark, you are not meeting my expectation, so आप resign कर दो. So you need to, as a boss, you need to see कौन सी मैसेज को किस तरीके से कम्युनिकेट करना है. ऑल द बिग डिसीजन, जैसे मैंने बोला था, किसी को टर्मिनेट करना है, शुड बी मेड फेस टू फेस, राइट. किसी को आप सैलरी कट के लिए बोल, जैसे पैंडेमिक में सबका सैलरी कट हुआ था. ओके, सो यू मे कॉल वन बाय वन एंड से कि वी हैव टू गो फॉर अ सैलरी कट बिकॉज ऑफ द पैंडेमिक, देयर इज अ लॉकडाउन, वी डोंट हैव ट्रेनिंग, सो यू हैव टू डिसाइड एज अ बॉस कौन सी मैसेज को किस तरीके से आप सबके सामने कम्युनिकेट करोगे, राइट. सो लेट्स मूव ऑन नेक्स्ट वन. Make the most on technology, but know when what works. You have communication की technology इतनी तरीके हो गए, and you have to choose किस technology को किस तरीके से किस फायदे के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं. Messengers, right? You have a lot of those messengers. Messengers are nothing but chats like WhatsApp है, Telegram है, Signal है, Facebook Messenger है, Instagram Messenger, so many things, mails, etc. To be functioning well, however, to a certain point. No, not most of the official decisions should be discussed on messengers. You need to write them on the mail. Suppose किसी के साथ one to one छोटा मोटा काम है, please come to my room. Suppose boss is sitting in another room and you are sitting in another room. You don't have a telephone connection. Either he can call you on a mobile phone or he can put it on a chat window, WhatsApp window. Please come to my room. लेकिन any official information announcing something, announcing about a big project, all those needs to go on mails only, not on WhatsApp messengers, right? The face-to-face conversational skills are very imperative. जब face-to-face बुलाते हैं आप, you have to read what kind of information you are going to share for what person. उसके हिसाब से आपका जो conversation को start करना है और end करना है. You will not be smiling and telling your employee that you are terminated. No. So you need to have the skills कि किस तरीके से conversation को किस तरीके से उनको convey करना है. It simplifies the task and brings out expected result. अगर आप उनकी emotions, उनकी feelings को लेके आप communication करोगे, you will get the expected result. A result will be good. You will be able to achieve what you wanted to achieve through communicating that message, right? Have a purpose, intention for every communication. Just like that, you will not be communicating with anybody. You need to have some purpose or intention to communicate. Know what you want everyone to leave knowing or doing, right? उनको communicate करते हो, क्या उनको जानकारी देना है, that you will find out. Know what you need from others. उनसे आप क्या चाहते हो by communicating this. And know what you can contribute to others. You also say, for this project I am taking these people, you will do this, you will do this, you will do this, and I will be doing this. So you need hello. So you need to convey these things. So who is going to do what, how you are going to contribute for that, everything should be communicated clearly. That is the purpose and the intention of communication, right? Next one, be a part of something bigger than that. Now, explain how working of everyone. Now, what is the purpose of a team? Team may, suppose 10 people are there, 11 people are there, and each one do a small task. Combining all the tasks, we will be achieving one goal. Think of an IPL team. Each player will get some runs, and you will achieve a goal of like setting a target for the opponent, right? So similar manner in workplace also, every team member, Not visible. Mind. PPT is not visible. She's somebody. Jyoti says. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell mind because I'm able to see here.
Hi, ma'am. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Are you not able to see that PPT?
Jyoti is not able to see PPT.
Okay, so ma'am, we have option like कैमरे के side में we have option PPT का, so just click on that, Jyoti ma'am.
Okay, fine. No, got it.
Is it visible now? Okay. Perfect.
Okay. So I've explained how working of everyone helps the bigger task and the goal in the long run. Task may not be so meaningful every time, may not be like what you are doing, the same task you may not be get sometimes, but you need to do in order to complete for achieving a bigger goal. Honesty is inspiring and you need to be very honest in your work. Whatever you are doing, we need to do it with honesty and that will inspire everybody if you achieve the goal, right? The next one is don't be afraid of positive feedback. Many a time what we think is positive feedback उसके बारे में मैं बड़ा चढ़ा के बोल दिया तो वो comment हो जाएगा and you will not do the work and all that. It is actually a myth. Okay, giving them the positive feedbacks, it motivates them, it encourages them. Okay, so I'll come explain to you in the next slide, giving the how you will have to give the feedback whenever you are asked to give a feedback. How you will give, we will start about later. But always encourage the people by telling some good thing about them rather than always criticizing them, right? So positive feedback always feels good. Whenever you receive a positive feedback, it motivates you, encourages you to do more, whereas negative feedbacks always you will be like your body temperature rise, your body sweats because somebody says something about your work, you are not doing this work, you are not doing that, you may get a scare ki मैं नहीं कर रहा हूँ तो मेरा नौकरी चले जाए. All that fear will come to you. So whenever you are giving the feedback, you need to start with some positive things and then move on to the negative. So next one is about giving feedback. Differentiate between negative and constructive feedback. So for example, घर पे everybody is like somebody is married, somebody is living with parents. Suppose whenever your mom makes cook something special for you, right? So even if that is जल गया है, जलने का smell है या नमक ज्यादा हो गया, मिर्ची ज्यादा हो गया, whenever you have to give her a feedback, always start something with a positive thing. मम्मा आपने मेरे लिए ये बनाया, this very good thing, I like it so much and all that. Then you come up with a negative feedback. मम्मा थोड़ा सा इसमें ज्यादा नमक डाल दिया या मिर्ची डाल दिया and all that. So the first thing what you said is will remain in her head. The positive feedback what you gave her will motivate her to take care of it in the second time. Next time when she cooks it for you, she will take care of it. Similar manner when you are encouraging your student. For example, a student has scored 98% in his exam. So आप उसको 2 marks के लिए उसको negative मत बोलो. Why did you lose the 2 marks? Don't say that. Say that very good, you have got 98%. But तुम्हारे में भी केयरलेसनेस से वो 2 marks चला गया somewhere. You need to work next time, careful काम करना so that you get that 100%. So start with something positive. Everybody likes to listen something good about them. Nobody wants to hear कि क्या उनकी कमी है, उसको point out मत कीजिए, point out करो. जब आप उसके पॉजिटिव पॉइंट्स बोलने के बाद उनका नेगेटिव बोलो कि हाँ तुम्हारे में ये कमी है, इफ यू इसको सुधारोगे यू विल बी डूइंग सक्सेसफुल इन योर लाइफ. सो नेगेटिव को हमेशा स्टार्ट मत करो नेगेटिव से, पॉजिटिव बोल के then you go on with the negative. That is called constructive feedback. अगर आप पॉजिटिव बोल के, सपोज आप मेल लिखते हो, आपका बॉस बोलते हैं क्या मेल लिखते हो, तुम्हें मेल लिखना भी नहीं आता, आपको क्या बोलते हैं, आप तुरंत अपना मोटिवेशन खत्म हो जाएगा. ठीक है, अगर आप बॉस होते, हाँ आप मेल तो कई बार अच्छे लिख लेते हो, बट समटाइम्स यू डोंट डू दिस वेल. उस तरीके से करोगे उनको लगेगा कि हाँ, my boss is really helping me to improve. He is really concerned that I am not sometimes writing the mail good. So उस तरीके से आपको, that is called constructive feedback, आपको वो अच्छे करने के लिए उत्साह करने वाला फीडबैक है, constructive feedback. So you should always take it positive and work on that and trying to improve it next time so that you are fully developed individual there, right? So the next one is treat others how they want to be treated. Treat them equally. जिस तरीके से आप चाहते हो बाकी लोग आपसे इंटरैक्ट करें, ट्रीट करें, उसी तरीके से आप उनको भी ट्रीट करना है. Treat them well, talk to them politely, communicate them effectively for running and for having a successful team, whether it is your office, home, or wherever you are. Right? I think I am going to end this slide. All the best. So that's the end of the presentation. So all this while we have been talking about communicate effectively. Not only communication. Communication के बिना तो हम रह नहीं सकते. Right? We are not animals. Animals also communicate with each other. Okay. Take for example a small infant. दो दिन के बच्चे हैं. भूख लगते हैं तो रोते हैं. That is their way of communicating to you, saying that I need milk, please feed me. They cannot talk, but they do it with other signs that I need attention, I need your attention. Even the pets also do that. They communicate well with you with their own language, and we are all intelligent enough to understand what our pets are asking from us. So communication is an important ingredient, as Roopa told you, is an important ingredient in our life. It is like oxygen to our body. Without that we cannot live. So communication is equally important to us, but making it effective is all the more important for having a successful team. Right. So with that, I end my discussion here. I end my presentation here. You have any questions? Please ask me. You are open to ask any questions. Thank you for being a good audience. Once in a while, we can even chat. We can even say something about the presentation. Anything good, anything bad. It's okay. Right? So, unmute करके आप बात कर सकते हैं. Very good.
Ma'am, I have a question, ma'am. Actually, sometimes ऐसा होता है usually कि जैसे हम बॉस के साथ मीटिंग में हैं, बट समटाइम्स ऐसा होता है कि वो एजेंडा से डिफरेंट वे में मतलब स्टार्ट होता है और हम अपना प्लान और प्रेजेंटेशन अलग वे में लेकर चल रहे हैं. मतलब जो हमें पहले इन्फॉर्म था वो हमने प्रिपेयर किया है, लेकिन बॉस जब मीटिंग स्टार्ट करता है तो इन दैट केस वो कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट हो जाता है. तो अब हमें पता है कि एक्चुअली बॉस इज गोइंग इन अनदर डिफरेंट वे, बट बॉस इज ऑलवेज राइट. तो हम उन्हें कैसे कम्युनिकेट करेंगे सम यू आर गोइंग बियॉन्ड मतलब सॉरी मतलब
वो किस तरीके से आपको अफेक्ट करता है? अगर वो एजेंडा से बाहर चले गए, आपसे कुछ मांगते हैं जो आपका डिटेल उसके पास नहीं, किस तरीके से वो आपको अफेक्ट करता है? मीन्स
हाँ, लाइक वो ऐसा होता है कि जैसे आपने जैसे रिव्यू के लिए बोला, तो समटाइम्स होता है कि हम लोग क्लासेस लेते हैं, तो क्लासेस के बाद या रिव्यूज जो हमें जनरेट करना है, जो हमने प्लान किए हुए, और सर का एजेंडा वही था जो हमें प्रायर इन्फॉर्म किया गया था, हमने उसके हिसाब से प्रिपरेशन किया. बट जब प्रेजेंटेशन सर स्टार्ट करते हैं या हमसे क्वेश्चंस होते हैं तो वो कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट टास्क होते हैं जिसके लिए हमने प्रिपेयर ही नहीं किया है.
तो उस तरीके से उसके लिए क्या करना है? प्रेजेंटेशन जिस दिन होना है उससे 1-2 दिन पहले सर से पूछो, सर आपको हमें प्रेजेंटेशन देना है, डू यू हैव एनी स्पेसिफिक फॉर्मेट, है ना? आप हमसे क्या क्या चाहते हो?
शेयर इन दी ईमेल जो भी कम्युनिकेशन किया है, बट जब एक्चुअली सर स्टार्ट करते हैं तो वो टॉपिक ही कम्प्लीटली चेंज हो जाता है. समटाइम्स इट हैपेंड एक्चुअली इन माय कंपनी. तो उस केस में फिर हम प्रोग्रेस करेंगे.
सिर्फ टॉपिक चेंज होता है तो देखो, एक मीटिंग में होता है तो वी कैन स्टिल टेल देम सर ये एजेंडा में नहीं है, लेकिन अगर वो इम्पोर्टेंट है उस मीटिंग के लिए, है ना, टॉपिक चेंज हो रहा है, इफ दैट टॉपिक व्हाट ही इज टेलिंग इज इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर योर वर्क रिलेटेड है, क्या है, बिकॉज मेनी टाइम्स क्या होता है, एजेंडा हम सोच के कुछ और होते हैं, लेकिन कोई इम्पोर्टेंट मैसेज बीच में आ गया which needs to be conveyed to the entire team, because entire team in assembled in that room for the review, वो अपना उसको बताने के लिए शुरू कर देते हैं. That is fair enough. Good. Instead of having another meeting to explain this, to communicate this, he is using this meeting to bring up that agenda also, right? Sometimes once in a while it is okay, but regularly होता है तो थोड़ा सा उसके ऊपर आप फीडबैक शेयर कर सकते हो. सर हम सोच के ये आते हैं, हमने ये, अगर वो दूसरा एजेंडा लाने पे आपका जो मेन एजेंडा का कुछ छूट जा रहा है, then you can say that हमने ये सोचा था ये करेंगे, इसमें से ये छूट गया because of the other agenda, so we will take it up sometime later, और किसी और तरीके से उसको आप कंप्लीट कर सकते हो उनसे पूछ के लेटर मीटिंग्स में. बट यू हैव टू somehow tell them that ये सोच के आते एजेंडा ये हो गया कि कभी ना कभी आपको बताना पड़ेगा लेटर. ही विल नॉट फील ऑफेंडेड, बट आपको उसको तरीके से आपको बताना पड़ेगा. सर आपको एक सजेशन है समथिंग, सो दे विल, इफ ही इज अ बॉस हु इज ओपन टू लिसनिंग टू द टीममेट्स, he will not get offended. वो बुरा नहीं मानेंगे, सुन लेंगे आपकी बात.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes ऐसे हो जाता है, स्टिक नहीं कर पाते एजेंडा पे, बट अगर अक्सर ऐसे होता है, then it is a concern which needs to be discussed. पूरा टीम जैसे बैठ के डिस्कस करो. आप इंडिविजुअली रेस मत करो, पूरा टीम के साथ मिलके करोगे तो that will be more effective. आपका नाम भी आएगा उसमें, नहीं आएगा ना उसपे, everybody is saying that. That way we can sort it out.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Durgesh. Anybody has any questions? Is the communication going so far well with all of you? You don't come up with any challenges at your workplace? जब भी फीडबैक आप देते हो किसी के ऊपर, आप ध्यान रखना कि talk something positive about them, appreciate what they have done in their work. कुछ तो किसी सब में कुछ ना कुछ तो अच्छाइयाँ तो होता है, एक दो पॉइंट अच्छाई तो होता ही है, पहले उसको पॉइंट आउट करो, फिर आप जो नेगेटिव बोलना चाहते हो या कमियां बोलना चाहते हो उसको पॉइंट आउट करो. शुरू में ही आप कमियां ना करो. नॉट ओनली विथ योर टीममेट्स, अपने बच्चों के साथ, अपने सिस्टर के साथ, ब्रदर के साथ, बीवी के साथ, सबके साथ यू नीड टू अडॉप्ट दिस मेथड सो दैट यू विल बी सक्सेसफुल.
Jayesh, you raise your hand. If you want to ask something, you can unmute yourself, please.
Hello.
Hello.
हाँ जी जयेश.
Sometimes, ma'am, what we happen usually if we are together like as a team, so there are junior and senior things comes regularly. Like if you are like HOD is there or some juniors are there. So how to interact with the juniors? Sometimes what happens, they feel like the seniors are always telling us and in different way. But the thing is that seniors doesn't want to do in that way. He just want to sort out the work with, he has to divide the work with the teammates so that the output should come out. So usually what happens, they take it in a different way.
उनके लिए आप there is that one-to-one communication बताया था ना, call them individually. You tell them this is the work we have to do it as a team. This is the work assigned to you. आप इसको करो एंड आप बोलो यू आर केपेबल ऑफ डूइंग दिस टास्क, इसलिए ये टास्क असाइन किया है. यू एनीवेयर यू हैव एनी इश्यूज प्लीज कम टू मी, आई एम ओपन टू हेल्प यू. वो कॉन्फिडेंस उनसे आपको लेना पड़ेगा. यू नीड टू गिव दैट काइंड ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस कि द पर्सन, यू हैव टू बी ओपन. आई टोल्ड यू नो टीममेट्स के लिए आपको हमेशा अवेलेबल रहना है. कभी भी वो प्रॉब्लम लेके आए तो आप उसको सॉर्ट आउट करना है. आप टास्क उनको देने से पहले एक ग्रुप मीटिंग कर लो, फिर इंडिविजुअली कॉल करके उनको बात कर लो. गिव देम दैट कॉन्फिडेंस, यू आर देयर फॉर देम टू हेल्प देम. सो दैट विल सॉर्ट मोस्ट ऑफ इट. इज आवर एक्चुअली द इंटरपर्सनल स्किल्स, राइट? डोंट लेट देम सी यू एज अ बॉस ऑलवेज, कि बोलो कि हम मिलके काम कर रहे हैं. आई एम बिकॉज आई एम थोड़ा बहुत मैं इसमें एक्सपीरियंस हूँ, आई एम योर बॉस. इट्स नॉट दैट ऑलवेज यू नो बॉस है तो डंडा लेके काम कराना है, नहीं है. फ्रेंडली वे में भी काम करा सकते. दैट इज द वे यू कैन गेट द वर्क डन फ्रॉम द सबऑर्डिनेट्स. यू कांट बी ऑलवेज हैव अ हिटलर वाला, नहीं चलेगा आजकल.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. So have that one-to-one discussion. कभी भी आपको लगता है किसी के साथ इसके साथ मैं ब्रेक नहीं कर पा रही हूँ, इसके अंदर उसके बिहेवियर में मैं थोड़ा बदलाव नहीं लाना हो रहा है, तो you take to them into confidence, take them in a one-to-one discussion and then sort this out.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
One-to-one में सब कुछ sort out हो जाएगा आपको.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? So how do you like the session today? Is it informative? आपको कुछ what are the takeaways from this session? क्या क्या आपको सीखने को मिला इस session से? Can you please put it in the chat box or you can speak up also? Now that you are opening up, unmute करके आप बोल सकते हो हमको. What is that you liked about the session? What is that? मतलब थोड़ा बहुत ठीक हो सकता था ये session पे. Is there anything like that you want to discuss? Please come up. We are just sharing our experience with you. It is not that we are teaching you or listening. ऐसे नहीं है. Just a discussion mode, interaction mode. ज़्यादा आपको interaction का मौका नहीं मिलेगा क्योंकि 1 hour session है. तो 5 मिनट हम chat में या बोलने में लगा सकते हैं. Mayank will give us that much time. So anything you want to share about today's session, last week's session, you can please talk to us. So we'll be doing 3 more sessions with you, with something interesting to come in the next week also. So let us know how you feel about this session.
Ma'am, session was actually wonderful. When I was listening both of you one by one, it was actually practically it was going like a video, like in my mind. Yes, this happened with me. This happened with that. This happened with. And the real, I can see that it was a copy-paste session. It was completely experienced session. Session you both were taken. It was really experienced session. We learned something. Actually, appreciate.
Thank you so much. To take this experience share किया हुआ अपने workplace में आप implement करो, you will be very
sure. I have taken all the slides, screenshots actually. Definitely, I mean, like a small copy paste presentation only. I mean, I will share.
He will share. Mine will share actually, right? So yeah. So these are small things. If you practice, no, at workplace, you'll really be successful. You know, it is nothing but managing the relationship with the people. मतलब हम क्या बात मतलब सिर्फ उनको designation दिया है. After all, they're all human beings, no? उनकी feelings समझो, उनकी emotions समझो. इस तरीके से समझ के आप उनके साथ काम करोगे तो everything you can crack. कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है.
दोनों सेशन से एक्चुअली मुझे ये लगा कि रियली बहुत सारे टास्क ऐसे रहते हैं जो सिर्फ इस कारण से कंप्लीट नहीं हो पाते हैं. जस्ट सिंपल थिंग कि कम्युनिकेशन एरर. इसके कारण जो है बड़े बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स को बड़े बड़े टास्क जो है बहुत डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन में आ जाता है. ये मैंने एक्चुअली रियलाइज किया सेशन के बाद.
Very nice, very nice. I'm sure you are going to use these and you will be successful.
Definitely, I will.
All the best, Yogesh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody wants to share your feelings about this?
I'm also to this side. So actually the session was very nice and amazing. So in a very short of time we actually learned a lot from the session. So big thanks to Roopa ma'am and Rajalakshmi ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your insights with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Jyoti. So nice of you. Thank you. Okay, so Mike, anything else? Hello? Mike, can we end the session? Mike? Hello? Hello?
You are now unmuted.
Can we end the session, Mike? Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for this
You are now muted.
session. So see you next week with yet another topic. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you all of you.
Thank you.
Okay.